Agriculture was humanity's first revolution, forever changing our history. Even today, more people work in farming than in any other occupation, a tradition passed to each successful generation marked with sweat, toil, and love for the land. Our very survival depends on feeding ourselves, yet more than 30% of all food produced is lost, most of it before it ever reaches the consumer. This is a quest to understand how a country like Kenya can reduce its food waste problem while feeding all of its citizens and reducing harmful greenhouse emissions.
Kenya is losing 500 million US dollars. 500 million US dollars every year as a result of post-harvest losses. And the entire continent is losing 48 billion US dollars. If you take tomatoes, Kenya is losing 2.4 billion Kenyan shillings each and every year as a result of post-harvest losses in the tomato value chain.
Naitwa William Murage na nimekuwa nikilima for the last 6 years. Kwa half an acre ya tomato per peak in 1 week, huwa ninavuna around 15 crates of tomatoes. I do it in up to 6 weeks. So generally for all the crates, I'll gather up to 90 crates.
Murage has dedicated half an acre of his land to tomato farming, a crop that has supported his family and finances for his farming ventures. This season, things haven't been going well for William. His crop has been infested, making this already fragile process even more challenging.
Nikakuwa invaded na mdudu anaitwa Tita absoluta. Na hata nikijaribu kupiga dawa inakana create resistance. Hii mdudu huwa inaingia inaduga nyanya kama hizi, unaona hazijaripen bado. Hata hizi dogo bado unaona kama ingia kakodani. Sasa hii ndio ina affect quality ya nyanya, unakuta inarudi chini kabisa. Unakuta sasa nimepoteza sana kwa kuanzia kuchuna, manake ukiangalia in weekly basis out of the 15 crates nilikuwa nina harvest already before, sasa zimerudi chini mpaka 6 na mpaka 5. I remember mpaka soko ya juzi nilikuwa nimetoa crate 3. Tena hiyo bado ya kuogopa hali ya kama mnunuzi atakuja. Kwa hivyo unaogopa hata chenye unavuna kwa shamba. Kweli nikichuna yote huyu mnunuzi bado atakuja.
Ndina miaka mingi tondeliro wira wa kugura nyanya. Yaldetwo ni mwene nyanya ino njokende mugurire. Nyanya ino kini na thuko cigana igiri yothe gakorwo mburuta nyanya iriku. Ugu nyanya ino ndageri gucagura kanyanya karaka ngione karaga thaka. Niketha at least muthuru cia kione tubesa ngibota kuri banda megutuaga.
Tulikuwa tumekubaliana flat rate ya 2000. Sasa after wamechagua kwa hizo crate 3 tena wakaanza kusema ni nusu. Na zingine ambao zilikuwa grade ya chini wakaanza kununua 700. So when they sum up the total wakasema yote unless wachukue 2600 out of 6000 wakanipatia 2600. Sasa unaona hiyo ni kama pia wananibia wao wenyewe. Yeah, na their games ambao zenye wanachezaga kwa kulima. Hii nyanya ambayo iko hapa intapelekea nguruwe. Maana hata saizi wewe kupeleka kwa soko ama watu wa mikahawa hatachukua. Na ukiacha hapa tu itaozea. Sasa badala hivyo kuna watu ambao wanaisha nguruwe, nitaenda niwapatie bure. Percentage yenye nimepoteza almost 80%. Nimepoteza nyanya mingi sana.
You might think making ends meet is just a problem for tomato farmers. Think again. On the other side of Kenya, in Trans Nzoia County, maize farmers are also feeling the pinch. The county is Kenya's maize granary, and every year it produces at least 5 million bags of the crop on over 107,000 acres of land. However, a lot of the maize is lost before it leaves the farms.
During harvesting time, we lose about 5% during the cutting and stocking. And during harvesting, the actual harvesting, we lose about 5%. During drying and transporting, we lose about 10%. And also during storage, through weevils, rodents, aflatoxin, we lose about another almost 10%. So in total we say about 30%.
Mimi ni mkulima wa mahindi. Nilianza ukulima miaka ya 1985. Up to now mimi naendelea na kazi ya ukulima wa mahindi. Mahindi ikishafika kwa store, utoe ile imeoza, utoe ile imekuwa premature, unapata kitu kama a half of the production ile ulitoa kwa shamba. So unapata nusu tu, na nusu ingine inaenda kwa ile meosa, ingine haikufanya vizuri.
Kupata mbolea hata kutoka kwa serikali hii ya National Cereals and Board inachukua muda, hata saa zingine hata hatupati. Sasa ukiingia kwa shamba, trakta ndio hiyo bei ni kali, watu wa kufanya kazi pia ni bei kali. Hivyo tunaona hata hii kilimo hakuna faida yoyote. Ile ningeuliza tu serikali ni tutengenezea bei ya mahindi, juu tunaumia sana. Juu hata ile gharama iko kwa mahindi, hata hiyo bei wanaweka 23, hata ukifanya nia hutarudi kwa shamba tena.
At the moment, because we have done analysis this year, the farmer in Trans Nzoia is producing at a cost of 2,255. With the current price that was announced, the farmer is only going to make 45 shillings per bag, assuming the farmer is selling to the National Cereals and Produce Board. I told you 70 to 80% of our farmers sell to brokers and middlemen. The traders will offer between 1,800 to 2,000. Many of them will not even match what the cereal board is doing. It means for a farmer in Trans Nzoia producing at 2,255, they are not going to make any money.
Sina matarajio kwa vile serikali imeweka hata bei ya chini sana. Sasa hata soko ya kuuza hakuna. Saa hizi sasa ni kukausha, naenda kuweka ndani ya nyumba nikae kwanza mpaka upate soko. Ikiendelea hivyo, wakulima watashindwa na mahindi. Tutaanza kutafuta hata ng'ombe, tufuge ng'ombe za maziwa. Juu hiyo gharama imekuwa juu sana ya mahindi.
These losses are not only experienced by smallholder farmers, even the big fish in the industry are feeling the heat.
Kilimo started in the year 2017, and we started in Kirinyaga. Now we expanded in Naivasha also, and Naivasha carries the biggest farm of Kilimo Innovations Limited. Currently in Naivasha we are 170 acres, and in Kirinyaga we at about 30 acres. We are doing French beans, cabbages, and we are hoping soon that we are going to exploit more crops and try them. Started, and we hope that the season is going to be very good for us, especially when it comes December, January months. But since we started our crop, we just had good sales in 1 month, and then from October, sales went down, and October was one of the worst months that we have experienced in our farmings, because we even lost some of the blocks on the farm. We shredded that crop, and we were not able to sell anything. We lost about 4 blocks of cabbage. When I speak of 4 blocks, I mean each of 2.5 acres. About 50% loss on each blocks. When we started as Kilimo, we started doing French beans for fresh market. They expected low for consumption. We were losing even up to 50% of what we used to harvest. Later we changed to the people we supply to, and I would say our losses are about 6 to 10%.
Been growing vegetables for the last 10 years now, mainly for export. Our main crops are the French beans, the Mange 2, the sugar snaps, tender stem broccoli, passion fruit, and a lot of chilies, which we grow all in-house, and we do some baby corn as well.
No one questions food safety and quality control, but cosmetic specifications are a major problem for both exporters and farmers in Kenya.
The chilies are quite a sensitive crop, so what you find is that there can be some superficial damage to the outside of the chili, which for European standards wouldn't be allowed or tolerated. So that might be some scarring to the skin surface, or it might be that the calyx has come off, or it might just be that they're a little bit too ripe, especially considering the time, distance and the shelf life needed for chilies going into Europe. So if we pack here, we need to make sure they can last for 10 days.
Once the produce has arrived at the pack house, it will go through another level of grading to make sure the vegetable won't be rejected in the destination country.
The types of waste we get are sort of split into 3 categories, I'd say. Number 1 is a byproduct. When you're processing or packing the vegetable, we might get waste through that, whether you're top and tailing a fine bean. You might then get something like 2 or 3 centimetres of bean that can be used, but at the moment we don't have a market for. The second sector would be when it's under spec, so working to customers' sort of specifications on their product. Sometimes you might get something that's slightly miscoloured, slightly bendy, slightly the wrong size, perfectly edible, but at the moment we wouldn't be able to export to the customers on that basis. And then the third type is for quantity. So if we have excess, if we have a good harvest of something, customers might cooperate and take a bit more, but sometimes we're left with extra.
$1.3 billion tons, or 1/3 of all food produced globally for human consumption, is lost before it reaches the market. This is enough to feed all the undernourished people in the world. In sub-Saharan Africa, 230 million people suffer from chronic undernourishment, and yet 30 to 50% of the food produced here is lost at various points along the value chain.
The African population was supposed to hit 2.5 billion soon. To meet the needs of this increasing population, the option is not just producing more, because to produce more you need more production resources. You got to clear more land to produce more food, to meet the needs of the population. But land is not elastic. It's not like we'll just continue clearing more land to produce more food and lose 30% of it. It's not sustainable. So for us, if we're going to be sustainable, and that also speaks to the whole issue of climate change, we have to take care of what we're producing. Use it well, okay? Better utilization of what you already produce, rather than trying to use more limited resources, land, clearing more bushes or forests to produce more food that is going to waste.
Overuse of the soil is also threatening the very foundation of agriculture. Several billion tons of fertile soils are lost every year. Much of what is left is tired and unproductive. In part 2, we see how technology and proper storage can reduce food losses.